All right, so working around the minor pentatonics in open D, let's maybe focus a little bit on how we can use some of these open strings to get those bluesy kind of sounds that everybody, kind of associates with, blues rock and roll, everything like that. There's those bends and pulls that really kind of give that sound to it. And one of the ways you do that is kind of grabbing one of your notes, like your third, which is a minor third, an F, kind of bending it up a little bit before you let it go on D. Okay. So you can get some of those. So usually what I do, if I'm grabbing one of those big notes, I'll either use my middle finger and use my first finger behind it, or use my ring finger and put my middle finger right behind it. So that's pretty easy. And that can kind of help you get a little bit of that feel of, okay, how do I make that sound bluesy? Just yank on it a little bit, Okay. So with the pentatonic stuff, you can add those little coloring notes to it to make it sound a little bit more interesting than just real. There's not a lot of vibe on those kind of notes. Like the notes are there, but it doesn't have that feel with the blues that you kind of associate when you got. When you've got those little notes and slurs and stuff in there, it gives it more personality, more character. So one of the other ways you can do that is adding in these kind of bends between the your minor notes and like a major note. And that's kind of what that bend is. So there's your F sharp, which is like the major third. And if you're dragging up towards that, okay? So that kind of stuff, if you bend that little note in there, it pushes it up towards the major, so a minor to a major, and that's where you get that sound that's so familiar with blues. One of the other ways you can do that is taking this pentatonic scale and turning it into an actual blues scale, where you're adding the flatted fifth into the pentatonic. So if we're doing that on the full scale ways, it'll look like this. So it'll go D, F again, G, G sharp, A, C, D. Okay. See how you can feel that walk up? The little kind of dirty note in there. There's your devil's note, the tritone. Sounds like you're listening to some Black Sabbath. All right. There you go. Forgot I'm indoor. There's your nasty sound, right? Right? So that adds a ton of color to the line and gives you other options to, a little bit of chromaticism. So when we're adding that in, you just kind of walk between the G and the A. pretty simple D blues that you can, I wouldn't recommend messing around with, because you're having to jump from one part of the neck to the other in this open tuning, and it can make for some cool intervallic jumps, which will sound cool in riffs, and you'll actually see it a lot if you're learning other tunes that are in this key. You'll see guys do it. And that's where you can add in little slides and slurs to, you got to move from one spot to the other, so you might as well make it sound cool. At least that's how I look at it. When you're you can kind of bounce around the neck a little bit and add in those. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, let's try that again. Whoops. Okay. So it gets a little bit tricky when we're up here, right? So if we start from the second octave, let's just start from here, from D. D, F, G, G sharp on the sixth string, A, C parallel, and D. So there's some kind of tricky stuff in there that I like doing stuff like this because it takes you out of your normal element. If you're used to playing scales that kind of have that normal pentatonic look to them, this allows you to think about things a little bit differently, and you have to think about where that next note is and what it is and why you're supposed to go there, as opposed to, I just know the scale, I can just do it. So let's try that again, where we start from the bottom, start all the way on the low D, and then try to get up to this higher octave D. All right, so we'll start off on D again. Oops. There we go. Oops. Try it again. Oops. Try it again. All right, let's try it again. So there's all the way up to that that next octave of D. It's right here on that fifth string. So there's all the way up to that other octave. Okay. So once you get up to here, when you're on this D, you're basically just walking up the same that we talked about earlier from that other D pentatonic, that D blues scale. So when you've got this little D scale up here, it's the same as. Okay, so now we can go from this low D to this high D with blues scale in time, right? Okay, let's try it again. May have thrown an extra D in there. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't.